good as you have done good for so many people. Les, gaan rus in die hoop en in die wete dat jy jou merk gemaak het. En die familie en die kinders wil ek sê, baie dankie dat julle pa gestaan het. Nie net aan die breër familie nie, maar aan die samelewing in sy geheel. Les veilige rus en maak seker dat jy aan Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Ochomacho en al ons helde kan sê dat ons sal voortgaan. Ons sal voortgaan om Suid-Afrika 'n beter plek te wil maak. Dankie.
We've received a message from Gavin Tonks, a very good friend. He says, in remembrance of the meaning of altruism and a tribute for his family. It must be Dyason's. I've known Les since I was introduced to him by Nestle to develop vending at the Port Elizabeth Airport departures. Sometimes frustrating, always busy, but never dull. Les was innovative. I learned a lot from him. His humble beginning, running a shop with his kids playing under the counter and running the business with a black book. In his book he recorded his sales and costs so he knew what he could spend each day. An innovative entrepreneur from the beginning. Les loved a couple of things, his family and all, as he would say. His food, which was his passion and drove him to excellence. Trains from his first job on the railways, property, his staff, and helping people. Les was altruistic. Altruism is the principle and moral practice of concern for happiness of other beings, resulting in a quality of life, both material and spiritual. I've written a lot for Les over the years, but I never considered I would be writing about him, because he has left us. But one thing is for sure, he will always be here in spirit. No one could ever tear him away from his business. It was who he is and was. I nagged him to take a holiday or trip overseas. It fell on interested ears, but he never would leave his life for a moment. Les took things in his stride and has won numerous awards and accolades from AXA, which he took great delight when he scooped them under the noses of the big boys of the industry. With Les, there was always a tender, duty-free airport parking, Cape Town, Oceanarium restaurant, Holiday Inn. We would huddle in a hotel room with Stephen typing for hours to submit on time. Les believed in a herd. We would have an entourage at a meeting. You also shared your work with at least 50 people, so you grew accustomed to criticism as it made you the best you could be. Les loved the Mafia Manager, a guide to the corporate Machiavelli, and bought hundreds of copies and knew phrases by heart. He also had no sense of time. I've quite a few memories of receiving calls at 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning and typing his thoughts so I could craft a document for him for submission. He also would phone me and laugh to say I'd kept him out of jail as I tempered his thoughts in the final documents to great mirth. Les had a list of accomplishments, projects and achievements that would fill many lifetimes for an average person. I never forget being called down to see 2 old railway cartridges being offloaded from a flatbed truck in George. He had to make it into a restaurant. He was in his element and so happy. I did not have the heart to tell him it looked like firewood at the time. Everything he did was with passion and commitment, and he inspired all around him like Gavin Faber and others. He loved to speak on the phone and would have conversations for hours. He is a testimony to the fact overuse of a cell phone did not cause brain damage. It made him sharper. I found an article that said that phones, microwaves heated the blood and made the brain function better. He thoroughly enjoyed that. Les knew everyone from the airports and the telephone numbers people would kill for. He loved Professor Barnard, his passion and his commitment. He loved Elvis Presley, music, and supported the arts and sponsored artists. I hope all of you that Les has touched, that you remember him fondly now. Les adored his wife and family. The loss of his wife was a personal weight that he bore. After she passed, I think of his car. It was like his mobile home. It just lacked a bed and kitchen. He was almost a nomad, traveling between Cape Town and Port Elizabeth through George. On his family, he was always available for advice and suggestions. Les, you always told me to write Hamba